Hey everyone, this is Evgeny and I welcome you back in the next episode of LangGraph Advanced series. Today our plan would be to check or to give a try how the unified human-in-the-loop works. So we'll go through several examples and I will show why you need this thing, unified human-in-the-loop format. So join me and let's take a look at that together. And traditionally, before we dive into this stuff, I wanted to mention that this video is extremely highly supervised by angry cats. So if you're still curious what are those, you have to check the link that matches there. So please do it. And well, we continue. Alright, we are there, and before we dive into the details, let me maybe quickly recap of what we had previously. I'm creating the agent, so it uses the model, it has the list of tools, and look at that, I'm wrapping place order, which I consider to be a dangerous tool with add approval. And we have this ask question, so we have all this kind of human in the loop in one place, right? So here we are, we have the classical React agent, reasoning acting agent. It has agent and tools. And since we bundled everything in one place, let's test it and see how it behaves. So I'm starting a new thread. I'm providing the basic request, like buy some Tesla stocks at the current price. And I'm simply invoking the graph to see the results. And what do we have here? We have a lookup stock symbol for Tesla, because agent doesn't know about that. It's TSLA, and then fetch stock data for TSLA, like everything the same as previously, no changes here. And a lot of financial data back from the tool call. And then it stopped, right? It stopped on the tool with the name ask question, and there's a question, how many shares of Tesla would you like to buy? Like we saw this already, and this is really expected behavior from the whole system. And if you check the current state, we can see that, okay, the graph was interrupted, so it's human in the loop is in place. If I check the interruption object, then I have seen that I can see this JSON object. There's a key question and the question itself. So how many shares of Tesla TSLA would I like to buy at the current price of something. And as a matter of fact, I have 1,000, so I'm continuing the execution. I'm saying, okay, I want to invest $1,000 maximum to the Tesla stocks. And I'm resuming the graph as commands, so I'm putting here resume and user response, and this is just a plain string. So what we have here, we have the same pieces from the past, and we are scrolling until the question tool. And then we have the user response. So it's a JSON format this time, and I'm saying, okay, I want to invest 1,000. And then it stopped there, right? So we can see the interruption is true. And the same, if I check the interruption object, I can see some details. So it's a place order tool and some arguments as well. So we can just continue. We are proving, we are providing back user response, approve true, and the same command resume as user response. And finally, we can see the last steps in the whole flow. Have you noticed the main problem here in the whole execution of the graph? And I would tell you what's that. This is the format of request and response, because if you think about that, we had two interruptions basically. One was for a question and another one was for approving the tool. And in both cases, the format was very different. So the first time was user response, I want to invest 1,000. And even that was not a format, it was converted to JSON. So user's response as a key, and I want to invest 1,000 as a value. And for executing the place an order tool, it was another JSON, it was approved true, and that's it, right? So it's a very bad situation, right? Because you have very different formats from every single tool in your human in the loop cycles. And the basic idea is that it would be a really cool idea to unify that, to provide something which is very standardized here. And the good thing is that LangGraph provides some primitives for you. So basically, we are talking about standard classes you have in LangGraph. So this is human interruption, human interrupt, and human response. And here's an example of such objects kind of generated. And as a simple response back, it could be human interrupt object and the type accept, which means, okay, I'm allowing this function, that's it. Okay, so now once you know the whole story, we can try to rewrite our previous graph using this standard types and just see how it works, how it looks like, and then I will show you the graphical tool where you can run your graphs agents very quickly. So here we are starting with tool with ask question, and this is the one when LLM thinks that it needs some information from a user. And what happens here, we are creating our request, and then it's human interruption, and we are setting action as a tool name, ask question. We have arguments as a question itself, and this is area responsibility for LLM. Then we are allowing what? We are allowing to ignore it, meaning cancel. I can provide some text input back, and this is really what we want. This is the answering on the question, and the description I'm just duplicating, please answer the following questions, and I'm repeating the question itself. The rest is more or less the same. We are doing the interruption, and we are passing the request as a parameter here, and then we have back the response. And then based on the response, we can analyze the type of the response, and if it was a response, meaning the answer of the question, then we're just returning it back as a tool call result, right? If the answer was ignore, meaning cancel, we are saying, okay, user choose not to answer this question. So these are the main two parts, how to exit this tool. And the same, we have to modify add approval, our wrapper, which you can use to wrap any tool in general. So what's happening here, I'm just going to touch some significant points here. And we have a human interruption, the same. We are creating action request, and here we put in the main tool name, we put in the tool arguments, and this is very dynamic nature. Then for configuration, we are allowing to ignore it, meaning cancel the execution, rejecting it. We are not allowing to provide any response back. We are not, it's an interesting thing. We are allowing to accept it, and basically we also can allow to edit parameters, and this depends on this thing, right? So it's possible when you're wrapping a function, for example, you can manually decide, okay, for this function, I'm allowing user to define some parameters or change them, but by default it's false. And what happens next? We are providing some description, please review and approve, the tool name, tool call, and interruption process here. Then we have a response. And then if the execution was accepted, we just blindly invoke the main tool and return back the result. If it was an edit, then okay, we invoking still the main tool, just we are passing the edited attributes, arguments of this here, right? And we're taking them from the response. If it's ignored, then we return back that it was canceled by human, continues that execution, that tool, and provide next steps. And that's it. And this is just safeguard if something is really wrong here. So I'm creating an agent, and it's the same configuration. Take a look at that. I have an ask question, but this time it's standardized parameters, interruption, response in use. I'm providing the updated add approval. I'm not providing here the second parameter, so it's not allowing to modify the parameters. But basically the look should be the same, right? It's the same graph, React agent, agent tools, everything is hidden under the hood. All right, and let's perform the same series of tests. Buy some stock Tesla at current price and run it. And the expectation will be exactly the same, right? We should stop at question, ask question tool, but then we will check the parameters there, what the response and the request looks like. And here we are, we have Tesla, TSLA, we have financial data back, and we have tool call for ask questions. And this time it's interrupted, and if I take a look at the format, the data we have, it's much more comprehensive right now, right? It contains a lot of data. So what do we have here? It's an action request, the action called ask question, and arguments list is a question, how many shares of Tesla. Then configuration would allow us to ignore this question completely, to respond to it, and everything else is forbidden. So I cannot edit, I cannot accept it. So what should we do here? We cannot just resume the graph providing single string, we have to provide it back as a human response object. And here's what we have. So type is response, meaning we are providing some feedback information, and the information itself is in arguments. So I want to invest 1000. And then we are just user response. We are resuming the graph as command and providing user response as an input. And look at that, we had a question, ask question, I want to invest, and immediately we have a tool call for placing an order. And let's take a look at the format right now. So again, action request, action is place order, and the args list is much more bigger right now. We have a symbol, action, shares, limit price. The configuration would allow us to ignore this tool call for true. It's not allowing us to provide any feedback. We don't know how to edit the parameters because of the variable by default false, but you can enable this guy and we are allowed to accept the tool execution. So finally, I'm defining type accept and no arguments, and I'm resuming the graph. And then the result is pretty expectable. Alright, and another thing why we talked so much about the standardized formats, it's that because you have multiple tools, and they're becoming even more in the future, I guess, where if you're following these rules, then your life becomes much easier. And as an example, I wanted to show you this agent chat UI. This is an interface. You can run your agents very fast and very quickly. So what you need to do for this, you have to run your agent locally first. Well, we will try the easiest configuration, running everything locally on my local machine. So for that, you have to run it in the studio. And for example, I copied it already. So I have the studio folder here. I have the single graph definition. And basically, if you're not familiar with that, I would recommend you show or take a look at LangGraph introduction series, where we use that technique a lot. Like we created a bunch of agents there. But basically, this is the studio for running locally your agents. So once you have it in your configuration in a studio, you can run it locally, and you go to the studio folder and you just run LangGraph dev system. And here you are, we are in a studio. You can see your graph. You can't, let me shrink it a bit. So we have the same graph. We can give it a try, like writing something input. It will be executed here. But the good thing is that it's already run locally. And this thing, the web interface, is just connected to our local run. So what we should do here, we can go to the agent chat. And this is this agent chat verso.app. And you can use it also. It's kind of an internet. This is provided by LangGraph. So what you have to provide here is the deployment URL and the assistant graph ID. And you can take it from here, from the logs. So the URL we have is, well, it's basically the same, right? It's 2024 localhost. As the same. And the agent name, here I can take it from the configuration. Let me take it from here. So it's financial advisor. And I'm putting it here. And also, additionally, optionally, you can provide Langsmith API key if you want to debug it and see the details, but I'm not going to do this right now. Just I wanted to show you the way how you can use it and why this specific format of human-in-the-loop is very useful. And here we are in the chat, and let's just try and replicate the same conversation we had previously. And let's start from buy some Tesla stocks. And here you have an option. You can hide tool calls, or you can leave it here. And let's give it a try without tool calls, and then we can start another chat and just repeat the same kind of dialogue with these tool calls. So I'm sending it here. Oh, it's a way around. I'm not hiding any tool calls. Maybe it's a better way. So look at that. We have a tool call for lookup stock symbol. We have back Tesla company name. Then it was lookup for stock financial data for TSLA. And back we have a lot of data which is hidden here. And then it was a question, ask a question call. So how many shares of Tesla would you like to buy? And look at that. Since we provided the standardized response request type, the chat knows how to process it correctly. So we can see this dialog, and what you can do here, we have a question. You have opportunity to put your response here and send it back, or you can just ignore it. Kind of, I'm not going to answer your question. And here we need to provide this, I want to invest 1,000 as a response, because this was our testing previously. And I'm sending the response. And look at that, we have a place order function tool call called with some arguments here, and we have another dialog. So it says, okay, there's a place order, and you can ignore it, cancel. and simultaneously buy and shares to limit price, and you can accept it if you want to run it, or you can just simply ignore it, which means reject. So if I'm accepting it, and we have the final message, like the tool call responded back with the status field, and we have the final message from the model itself. This is the beauty of it, right? And this is because it knows the standard formats, and that's what I would assume you would keep on from now, right? And if I hide the tool calls, just let's quickly try the same question and see how it looks like. If it's just normal chatting, you don't want to see any details. In here we have an ask question immediately dialog, and how many shares of Tesla, and we are providing the response about 1000. And this reminds me already, like kind of chatbot already. Response was submitted successfully. And then we have another question, please ignore or accept it. And maybe this time I want to say no, I'm rejecting this one. And it says, okay, since the order of buying Tesla shares was cancelled, we have some options. And here we can continue if you want, right? For example, yeah. And again, the same place order, because the rest is clear already. And this time, for example, I'm accepting it. And it was filled. This is the end of the video, and I really appreciate that you stick with me till the end, and I really hope that you've learned something new, that you saw different ways how you can work with human-in-the-loop, and that will give you a huge help, huge like kind of drive when you're working on your own agents. And it was me, Evgeny. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and we'll see each other in the next one about LangGraph, agents, and artificial intelligence. So let's stay tuned and see you, and bye-bye.